Hey, this is Gerald with Cigaristry. Now, part of the fun of smoking cigars is trying something new, going out there and experimenting and trying cigars you've never had before. But however, on the flip side of that, part of the fun is also going back and revisiting old cigars, old friends that you haven't seen in a long time, to see if that magic is still there. And for me, one of the cigar brands that I used to love smoking over and over again many years ago was the Cinco Vegas brand. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is start revisiting each one of these sticks one by one, starting with the classic, to see if they still capture the same magic for me that they did so many years ago. Today's cigar is a Torpedo, and it's got a nice satin brown wrapper that's accented by two bands. They're both gold, white with red accents, and the bands are really pop on this cigar. I've always liked the way this cigar looked, just both in the wrapper and just in the design of the band as well. Now the cigar has a almost a nutty hay-like smell to it. There's a slight barnyard hay smell, but I do pick up a scent of nuts as well. It's a good smelling cigar. I'll go ahead and cut this guy. The pre-lit draw has an airy taste to it. It's not too loose, but it's definitely not tight at all. It's got a mild tobacco and nutty flavor to it. It's got a good taste. Let's light it up and see what it has to offer. I've always liked these cigars. I've never had one that I didn't like, and can't count how many I've smoked over the years, and this is just one cigar I've never gotten tired of, but it's also a cigar I don't smoke all the time either, and I think that's the key. I find that, for me at least, when I keep smoking the same cigars over and over again, I just get bored with them. I like a variety, especially in cigars, and for me, no matter how good the cigar is, it's always good to spend some time away from it and go back and revisit it again. Now right off the bat, the cigar has a very strong tobacco punch that just kind of coats the first portion of your tongue. Yeah, very strong tobacco flavor to it. It just kind of sits on your tongue. It just sits there. Even now, I feel like I just puffed the cigar. I can just feel it resting on my tongue. I'm a good inch into this stick, and those strong tobacco notes that I was tasting early on have disappeared. What I taste now is more a earth and wood, but it's not the type of wood like a strong wood like a cedar. It's more of a soft wood flavor to it. Retrohale picks up some spice, and it does scrape my sinuses a bit, but I also still pick up those same woodsy notes in there as well. It's not a creamy wood either. It's more of a just a soft, smoothing, woodsy taste to the cigar. I'm pretty close to the end of the first third, and it's not the best burn in the world, but it's not the worst one I've had either. Overall, it's a decent cigar. It's probably not as great tasting of a cigar as I quite remember. It's been a while since I've had this cigar. It's very earthy, very woodsy, which is fine, but I do like, for me, too much wood kind of gets old quick. So for me, we'll see what happens in the second, third, but I do like a little more variations. If it had some cream or pepper, some other flavors in there, it'd probably be a better cigar for me. But it's still not a bad stick. It's just not quite as good as I remember it. It's almost a dry cigar to me. And I'm also drinking cranberry juice, so I don't know if that's altering the flavor from what I'm used to. Then again, I used to drink a lot of rum and coke with it too, so it's hard to say. Construction-wise, this is an interesting cigar. The ash has got these streaks of black through it. Kind of reminds me of a skunk. The burn is very wonky. It's a pretty crooked burn now. It seems to be getting worse, but I haven't felt the need to touch it up yet. And the cigar has a very spongy feel to it. There's nothing that's really stiff or anything. It's just a very spongy stick all over. No issues with the draw. It's not loose. It's not tight. It's a good draw. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's definitely probably leans a little more towards the loose end. But it's definitely I'd say it's a good draw. What's interesting about this cigar is there's times I almost pick up like a taste of paper, and I think that kind of goes along with those woodsy flavors that I was tasting in the cigar. Paper's not really a taste I really care for in cigars. For me, it tends to be a little dry, makes me thirsty. But in this cigar, I just kind of taste hints of it from time to time. I don't really taste a lot of it, but it definitely kind of throws me a little bit out of the stick. Alright, I had to relight my cigar, so it didn't quite fix the burn issues, but I did correct them quite a bit. The cigar is very woodsy again. It's got a very dry taste to it. There is some spices I still pick up, but I think the dominant flavor now is more of that woodsy taste that I tasted in the first third. The Retrohale has a very strong spice. I mean, this one really scrapes through my sinuses, and I can feel that scraping sensation just kind of lingering in there. I don't really taste the wood in the Retrohale now. I just mainly taste the spice. And I do feel, once I Retrohale, I do feel almost like a spice or a peppery punch on the back of my throat. Okay, I'm at the final third. There's not a lot of flavor variations with this cigar. It does change, but it doesn't change drastically. Basically, there's three flavors I pick up. I pick up a woodsy note, an earthy tone, and a spice. And those kind of weave in and out of the stick. Right now, I predominantly still pick up the woodsy flavors, and the cigar to me is pretty dry. It does make me thirsty when I smoke it. Now, those of you that do like woodsy cigars, or even drier cigars, I mean, this is definitely a cigar I highly recommend trying. I'm still enjoying the cigar, don't get me wrong. I remember loving this cigar at one time, and I can't say right now that I love this stick. I do like it, and I do have another one, and I'll probably smoke it with probably just water, see if I get a different experience with it. But overall, through this experience, I'd say it's a decent cigar. It's good. It's just not at the level I remember. It's a little bit drier than I recall, and it's also more of a woodsy tone than I recall. But then again, it's been a while, and palates do change over the years, so it's possible that at the time I was enjoying more woodsy cigars, and now I enjoy cigars more with like peppers and creams and coffees and other types of flavors. So, but still, it's a good cigar. The burn seems to be holding up better since I relit it. It's a little crooked, but I didn't make it razor sharp when I try to relight it anyways, but overall the burn's starting to hold up better than it did before. Retrohale still has that spice in it. It doesn't scrape my sinuses as bad as it did before, although as soon as I do a Retrohale, I do feel that spice just kind of sitting on the back of my throat. But it's a cigar, and it's definitely one I look forward to trying with probably water or some other type of drink. The cranberry, I mean, the cranberries can be a little dry anyway, so that may have some effect on when I pick it up in this smoke. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this review. Overall, this cigar is pretty consistent from the beginning to the end. The final third is very similar to the first two thirds that I smoked. At times it's wood, at times it's a earth, at other times it's the spice. And the Retrohale is really where you pick up the spice. I did like the cigar. It wasn't as strong as I remember it, but it was still a good smoke. And if you're new to premium cigars, I highly recommend giving this one a shot. This is one of the brands that I smoked when I first got into premium cigars, and they have a lineup that's very good. I do have several of their other sticks I look forward to revisiting to see if I still have the same opinions on those. This at the time, or at least several years ago, probably was my most favorite out of that lineup, so I'm curious to see if my opinions changed in that area. But definitely, if you're new to premium cigars, give this brand a try. I think you'll find that it is a good cigar. It's a little dry at times, it's a little woodsy, but it still has a very good taste. So if you've had this cigar before, or if you're new to it and you just tried it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you liked about it. If you think I'm completely off my rocker and I'm off base compared to what you see on the cigar, let me know what you think of it. And until next time.